My name is Diane Paisel and I've worked in human services for 23 years. The purpose of this video is to introduce two good friends who are the inspiration for this feature film. Jared Law and Timo Huitinga, adults on the autism spectrum, struggled throughout their lives with intense levels of anxiety, fear, loneliness, and anger, and believed they were doomed to life in the shadows, so to speak. They each strived to find a way out with the help of medications, meditation, therapies, yoga, music, the arts, writing, and a multitude of other practices. Ultimately, they discovered, though helpful, it wasn't enough. They needed to share what they'd learned in their lives and what they instinctively know, and that by helping others, they helped themselves. Though it was a long and painful process, they each found a community that could love and embrace them as the remarkable people that they are. They consider themselves extremely fortunate to have found people who could celebrate their differences rather than to view these differences as impediments to normalcy and inclusion. I've worked with Jared Law, a sensitive, intelligent, and creative man with nonverbal autism, for 23 years. His motivation to grow and learn is intense, as is his desire to love and be loved, and to make a difference for others. We've created several businesses over the years, and each one of them has been designed to include and afford opportunity to people with special needs. Jared and I befriended Timo Huitinga, a brilliant 27-year-old man with Asperger's syndrome, when he visited New Haven from Amsterdam to explore attendance at Yale University 7 years ago. This real-life Aaron was awed by Yale and knew a staggering amount about its 300-year-old history. His ability to acquire and retain vast amounts of information is extraordinary, but what is equally notable is his sensitivity, candor, wisdom, and kindness. We bonded with him almost instantly and really enjoyed seeing Yale through his eyes. Though he ended up attending law school in Amsterdam, Timo has never stopped loving this awe-inspiring Ivy League university, and so is happy that it is the setting for our film. Aaron's Light is timely, with so much information about autism now available. This film, however, does not strive to educate about autism, but rather to illustrate that communities are enriched and strengthened by the inclusion of people like Jared and Timo. It is my extreme pleasure to introduce them to you via this video.
My name is Jared Law, and I am a 46-year-old man with nonverbal autism. For over 20 years, I have been supported by the Institute of Professional Practice, an agency that serves people with special needs. When I came to IPP, I was extremely troubled, struggled with rage, anxiety, depression, and hopelessness. I was living in darkness with no prospects for the future. I was alone and misunderstood because I could not communicate what I was feeling. People were afraid of me, and though they could not see it, I was terrified of them. Before too long, IPP connected me with two women, Diane Paisel and Carmelina Mosher, who brought light into my world. Never in my wildest dreams would I have imagined that together we would one day create Play with Grace, a program that brings others like me out of the darkness. I was always told I was creative and had no idea what that meant until this time in my life. Now I use a computer to communicate, and my life is filled with art, song, dance, community, and joy.
This movie, Aaron's Light, which is fashioned after you, you're the inspiration for it, after the character Aaron who has autism. It was because there was some need, we thought, for the world to understand what people with special needs bring to the world, also for people with special needs to have an entree into an industry that doesn't really necessarily employ or welcome them on stage or behind stage. And it got us thinking about our own disabilities and, you know, what the benefits of having Asperger's are and what the deficits are. But what are they? What are the benefits and what are the things that make it really difficult?
Well, what makes it difficult is the fact that having Asperger's is to put it bluntly, it's a rather mild form of autism. So, because of the fact that I have a rather mild form, it's important for me to actually belong to the world. Someone who has classical autism won't care. He will be faced so inwardly, he doesn't care about the fact that he's different, so it won't faze him.
It's a good point. I
Yeah.
never thought of that.
Having Asperger's means that you're constantly like walking on a tightrope, you know, trying to belong whilst knowing perfectly well that you never can actually conform to the standard people seem to desire of you. Which sucks, because every time, at every turn, you fall short. You're never able to, you know, for example, understand subtle kinds of sarcasm, humor, it's difficult. So that sucks, and well, thankfully I have a rather good memory, so I store situations and I think, well, I've been through this one before, so I think this is the appropriate response. So I've grown tremendously. So I rarely make huge mistakes anymore. But if I do, like I told you with the mood court disaster, I can now say, alright, it was a bad call and it happens, I'm not perfect, I can now forgive myself. Whereas when I was younger, I was very tough on myself, held myself to an impossible standard. So now that I've mellowed out a little bit and accepted the fact that I will probably never be able to conform, it's not so much a problem anymore. Right now I'm just thoroughly enjoying the benefits, such as being able to quote the greats when I want to, and well, the memory doesn't hurt, and I'm a tad more distant from my emotions, so I rarely ever really get tangled up, you know, and keep a cool head. I think Asperger's is fun to have.